don't include the word steroids after birth control. Don't say birth control steroids. Your government tells you not to. It's a bad male thing. Steroids are a bad male thing. All right, you guys, it's Dan, the bodybuilder from Thailand, here in Los Angeles. Sunday morning here in Los Angeles because of my my leg infection injury. You know, I'm in America for a little while. Here's that. That's how that's looking. I'm here to talk to you guys about the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis today. I'm going to explain it to you in plain terms so that if you're a guy who is like, what's the hookta? I'm going to explain it to you not like one of these freaking scientists or whatever, or these study bugs on YouTube, okay? I'm going to explain it in plain terms so that you're going to be able to use it and its knowledge and apply it to your life, okay? It's going to answer a lot of questions for you about steroids and fertility and stuff like that, okay? And how your body produces testosterone. This right now where I'm in LA, I'm living in Little Mexico. You know, all the words, all the streets, all the signs, everything's written in Spanish. And this is my favorite place in LA, the place where I'm living, because there's more people outside, there's more cool people, there's more nice people, and we actually treat each other like human beings a little bit in this area. Wow. Insane that that can happen in the box called Western society where everyone is a drone. So the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, what it is the hypothalamus is in your brain, and the hypothalamus is a part of your brain that releases signals to the body, okay? And so the first thing that happens, I'm gonna go through it through HPTA, okay? Hypothalamus, H, is the hypothalamus releases something called gonadotropin releasing hormone, okay? And when there are low levels of steroids in the body, gonadotropin releasing hormone is released from the hypothalamus, okay? That's low levels of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Stimulate the release of gonadotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. All right? Low levels of sex steroids in the body. That's what causes that to happen. High levels of sex steroids, testosterone, progesterone, estrogen suppress gonadotropin releasing hormone being released from the hypothalamus. H, okay? HP, okay? In HPTA, pituitary gland. All right, the pituitary gland is in your neck area, and it releases hormones that stimulate your testicles if you're a man, or your ovaries if you're a woman. You remember gonadotropin releasing hormone? Well, gonadotropin releasing hormone that's released by the hypothalamus is then sent to the pituitary gland, where it interacts with cells there. And when the pituitary gland is stimulated by gonadotropin releasing hormone, it releases its salvo of hormones, okay? So the two ones that it releases in response to GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, is the ones it releases is follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. And luteinizing hormone is the main one because it makes you produce testosterone. When your pituitary gland releases luteinizing hormone after it's been stimulated by gonadotropin releasing hormone in the hypothalamus to do that, then it releases luteinizing hormone, okay? And luteinizing hormone stimulates, it travels down to your testicles, and it stimulates the Leydig cells in the testicles to produce testosterone. And when that happens, you start producing some sperm also, okay? But the one that really makes a huge difference with the sperm is the Sertoli cells. Those are the ones in the testicles that produce the sperm, not the testosterone, okay? So when your testicles produce testosterone, the Sertoli cells get stimulated a little bit, all right? And so that's why only taking HCG, which is the analog of luteinizing hormone, okay? HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, the injection that makes your balls not shrink when you do a steroid cycle, okay? That creates some sperm being produced too, even on a cycle, because it stimulates your own testicles Leydig cells to produce testosterone, which then stimulates your Sertoli cells to produce some sperm, but not a lot, okay? So the other one, follicle stimulating hormone, that the pituitary gland releases once it's touched by gonadotropin releasing hormone by the hypothalamus, is the follicle stimulating hormone does interact directly with the Sertoli cells on your testicles, okay, and cause your testicles to produce sperm, all right? And so we know that luteinizing hormone, one of the two hormones that are released in response to the hormones released by the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland then releases these two hormones that stimulate the gonads, which are the ovaries in women and the testicles in men. Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So luteinizing hormone, the pharmaceutical equivalent of that is HCG, and follicle stimulating hormone, the pharmaceutical equivalent of that is HMG, human menopausal gonadotropin. So that is the injection or medical analog of follicle stimulating hormone released by the pituitary gland, okay? So if you've got luteinizing hormone and you've got follicle stimulating hormone interacting with your testicles, okay, your testicles then produce sperm and they produce testosterone, okay? Follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone are the two hormones that are necessary to cause sperm and testosterone to be produced in your testicles. Full functioning of the testicles, okay? All right, one thing that can harm this and you can't get away from it is marijuana abuse. Okay, if you abuse marijuana, if you use it a little bit, it's not gonna matter. But if you use it all the time, it's not an anti-androgen. What it is an androgen receptor blocker, okay? That's why people say like, oh, well, you know, marijuana doesn't have estrogenic effects, but you know, it gave me gyno. That's because it blocks their androgen receptors, okay? If they're using way, way, way too much marijuana. So what it does is it works similar to the way that nolvadex works in a woman or a man to block the, you know, it works in a woman to block her nipple estrogen receptors right there, so she's not susceptible to having breast cancer again. But in a man, you know, it blocks the estrogen receptor on your nipple from to make it so that you can't get gyno. And why does that work? Well, the estrogen receptor is actually being blocked by it's being blocked by the nolvadex, and the nolvadex is making it so that the estrogen can't come in contact with the receptor and make it have its effects, okay? So marijuana abuse does a similar thing to the androgen receptor. It blocks your androgen receptor and makes it so that testosterone and steroids can't have an effect, okay? And so if you're really abusing this marijuana, that can you know, damage your testicles, or at least make it so that they're not able to be communicated with. So if you're trying to, you know, do a PCT, you shouldn't be using too much weed. So anyways, you're gonna get the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone, okay? And those two cause your testicles to perform their function. So they're analogs, they're pharmaceuticals that are those hormones, right? They're not the exact hormones, but your body functions and recognizes it as the exact hormones: follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone, HCG, follicle stimulating hormone, HMG, human menopausal gonadotropin. That's the analog for it, okay? So if you have both those pharmaceutical agents and your actual testicles are not damaged, and you inject yourself with those two pharmaceutical agents, you will produce natural testosterone and you will be fertile, okay? But if your actual testicles are damaged, then when you do that, the actual nut isn't gonna be able to do its job if it's actually damaged. All right, let me explain birth control to you guys a little bit. So, birth control, I'm gonna tell you why it works. It does not make a woman's body think that she is pregnant. That is a myth. That is a stupid, stupid ass myth that people, I think doctors must just say it to people because they're not smart enough to understand how it really works, okay? This is how fucking birth control works. The same way as it works in a man, dude. These things are not like insane, okay? So birth control is steroids. It's sex steroids. So you're taking estrogen and progesterone. That's what's in the tablet, okay? And now a sex steroid that is for a man is testosterone, okay? Okay, so what happens when you take testosterone, okay? Your hypothalamus then notices that there are elevated levels of sex steroids, okay? So it stops releasing gonadotropin releasing hormone. And what happens when you stop, your hypothalamus stops releasing gonadotropin releasing hormone? Well, the next thing that happens is your fucking pituitary gland has nothing to stimulate it to release follicle stimulating hormone and release luteinizing hormone. So in a female, those are the ones that make her, they go to her ovaries, her gonads, okay? And in a male, they go to the testicles, gonads, all right? And so if you have those elevated levels of sex steroids from taking birth control tablets, estrogen and progesterone, then the hypothalamus is not going to release any gonadotropin releasing hormone, okay? And so she's not going to have any luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone attaching to her ovaries. So she's not gonna have her fucking period, okay? And she's not gonna be fertile. That's why birth control works, all right? And since that is sex steroids, okay? And that's why it works. When you take male sex steroids, testosterone, D-ball, etc., your hypothalamus recognizes that, oh, there's elevated sex steroids in my blood, androgens, okay? And then you stop having your hypothalamus release follicle stimulating hormone, stops releasing luteinizing hormone, and your pituitary gland, or sorry, that's what your pituitary gland releases. So your hypothalamus doesn't release gonadotropin releasing hormone, which makes it so that your pituitary gland can't release follicle stimulating and luteinizing, okay? So then you're not fertile. Same way as a woman, okay? So birth control tablets that women take, or injections or whatever, they're working on the exact same principle as you taking an anabolic steroid cycle is using and shutting off your fertility. So when you shut off your fertility using anabolic steroids, the reason you're not fertile, the reason you're not producing your own testosterone anymore, is the same reason that when a woman is on birth control, hormonal birth control, she's not fertile anymore. She's not producing her own estrogen and progesterone anymore, okay? It's the same reason, okay? Get this into your head. Birth control steroids are steroids. They're steroids. There's three subsets of steroids: progestogenic, estrogenic, androgenic, okay? The steroids that build muscle, androgenic steroids. The steroids that help a woman have a period, estrogenic and progestogenic steroids, okay? But they all fit into this hypothalamic, pituitary, gonadal axis, okay? HPTA is the unisex term, and HPTA, hypothalamic, pituitary, testicular axis, is the term that's specifically for males, all right? So guys, that is how the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis works. That's how your fertility works. And that's how your testosterone is produced. So if you're ever wondering, you know, am I ever gonna get my fertility back after I stop using steroids? Well, this is the same answer as it is for women, okay? You know, some women, they go off of birth control or they don't take a few tablets for a couple days and they get pregnant. And then there are other women who, you know, they take birth control and they have to be off for a year before they're fertile again. And then there are others who it takes 3 months. Some of them take 6 months. This is the way it is. We all have individual physiology. And it's gonna be the same thing with your steroid use. So if you're saying like, you know, how long is it gonna take me to recover? Am I gonna recover? Things like that. It's like, yeah, you are gonna recover. It's just like, how long is it gonna take? And you know, if you, you know, are you gonna use pharmaceutical things to help speed that process along? And you know, it's funny too, it's like, people just can't get through their heads that birth control steroids are steroids the same way that anabolic steroids are. But then another thing that, like, you know, you go to a fertility clinic for women who can't get pregnant, and what do they start giving them? They start giving them PCT drugs. They give them clomid. They give them nolvadex. They give them HCG. They give them things that are gonna make their hypothalamus start producing gonadotropin releasing hormone. They give them things that are gonna make their gonads start functioning, like luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone analogs, HCG and HMG, okay? Birth control steroids are the steroids that control female development. Androgenic steroids, anabolic steroids are the ones that make you male and make you grow muscle, okay? They all work on the same principle. So if you're worried about your fertility with gear and roids, you should be worrying about it to the exact same extent that women worry about their fertility on birth control steroids, all right? Dan, the bodybuilder from Thailand, Los Angeles.